back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Mecha Break video. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about Serenith. This is our beginner's guide for Season 1 Serenith. But Serenith has been the mech that I've been using so far to grind up my ranks, and I thoroughly enjoy this unit. Obviously, it's very powerful in my eyes. A lot of people might say it's normal, but I think it's really strong with all the changes they did. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the basics of Serenith. We're going to be talking about some of the matches you go against other mechs, specifically the newer ones like Hell. Serenith is really solid, and we'll be talking about matchups when it comes to playing with Serenith, and then some tips and tricks when playing Serenith. This is our beginner's guide, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Best to give me your loyalty, cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty.
Hell's really low. Boom, dead. I don't know if they even have a healer. Your Serenith is really low. Alfred here. You got stunned. Punish him. Boom. GG's.
Did you actually try pushing the code with your Teva?
Nope. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at Serenith. Now, we're going to try to change this a little bit. We're going to kind of do everything in one little spot. Instead of kind of showing the stats and then showing the visuals, we're going to kind of all do it together. So we're going to go over Serenith, and we're going to do in the training room. The training room is probably the best, so you can specifically target what we're looking for to talk about. All right, so moving forward, we have your left and right click, two different things that you can even hold. And as you hold them, the more longer you hold it, the stronger it will do damage-wise. So for your left click, if you hit your left click, is called Energy Autocannon. Now you can charge it or you can just tap it. So if you were to just tap it, this is what it's going to look like. But if you were to charge it, you have two bars. So technically, there's three things you can do with your left click. You can tap it, you can hold it for one bar as you see here, or two bars you see there. Now we're fully charged. Now you can do either one of those three. You'll be able to press it early, and then you'll be able to do a significant amount of damage and more with that. Now I am fully charged, just like any other striker that allows you to hold a charge while you're moving around. I always recommend this. Like Panther, for an example, if you're new to playing Panther, I recommend always holding your javelin when you're moving around, because you can hold this and move around and it doesn't affect your ability. It doesn't slow you down because you're holding this charge or anything like that. So I always recommend holding it, at least for the very beginning, and then you kind of fill it out from there. In this scenario, in the very beginning, when I'm going into a match, I always try to hold it. Now, this does a lot of damage, so as you shoot it, nothing visually looks different. It does have a bigger beam, but if we were to bring out, let's just say Tricera, you will see that if you were to hold it, the amount of damage you do is pretty significant. As you see, the shield, pretty good there. Now, if you were to tap it, you're not doing as much damage, but you're still doing a solid amount of damage. Now, Tricera does have energy defense down to Serenith, so even more so why Serenith is a really good pick against Tricera. So yeah, you have your left click. You can kind of do either or. You can hold it all two bars, or you can just hold one bar and do damage, or you can just tap it. Now your right click has two charges. Now the right click is actually called Orbital Targeting System. You can just tap it one time and it brings down an orbital really quick. One quick orbital. Or if you hold it, as you hold it all the way fully up to its max, you get the audible sound that you're ready to go, and you let go, and now it's a big blast, and it kind of keeps the damage over time going on it for a second. So if they stay in that vicinity, as you see how big that orb gets, anything around that vicinity will take damage. That includes yourself and your teammates. So you got to be careful, and your teammates have to be careful. If they see an orbital, get away from that. So you have two ways to really do this. Now, me personally, in the very beginning, I always have both of these charged up. It's always good, like I said, to always have them charge up. Depending on the situation, in the very beginning, let's say you're doing a payload map where you kind of see your enemy from the other side, really good to drop an orbital kind of where their gate is at. You can kind of drop it there, and as the enemies either have to wait for that orbital strike to go away, or they're going to go right past it. A lot of times they do go right past it, and they do take some damage when it comes to it. Now, you have to kind of understand your maps a little bit, and some of those payload maps you can get out there pretty quickly as the gate is going down to be able to drop an orbital if you needed to. But in the very beginning, when I first go into any map when it comes to Serenith, I always have it fully charged up, but I don't always do that when you are fighting. You kind of want to see the scenario when you want to hold it and when you don't want to hold it. So in this scenario, we will be holding and then letting go. Now, if you do both of them, it does do quite a bit of damage, as you see there. All right, so now in this scenario, if you are in a 1v1 scenario, depending on who you are going against, I would recommend always tapping your weapon. This is also really good. Is 1 quick damage, 5,000. If you catch them, great. If you don't, you're forcing them to move around and maybe pivot them to a scenario where they don't want to be. Maybe they're going to corner themselves. They're trying to avoid being hit, but they're trying to attack you. So tapping the right click is always the best in a 1v1 scenario, especially if you guys are trying to escape or someone's trying to escape. Tapping is always going to be the best thing to do. But on these bigger mechs like Tricera, Welkin, Stego, even Hurricane, you're most likely going to be doing the taps. But if you can get a jump on them, holding that charge is going to be really effective against them, especially like, for instance, Welkin box. You activate this to fully charge the orbital on their box, and 1 second is completely gone. It does that amount of damage when it comes to it. Same when it goes to the left click. Left click, you can tap it whenever you want. If you're in the middle of a fight, kind of just like, you know, get them off of you for a second. But if you have a chance, and depending on what mech you are going against, sometimes holding that charge for the actual main click would be better in the scenario than actually holding the right click. The right click actually has a longer delay when you are able to reuse it, where the left click doesn't have that as much. But you do have to keep an eye on your ammo, because if you are just tapping it, you will be wasting a lot of your ammo. And when it comes to it, you do have to have quite a bit of ammo to be able to hold it and charge it. So we just let go. We had 12. Now we got rid of 4 ammo. So if you just tapping it away, you won't be able to do the actual charge. Same goes for the right click. If you do the same thing, you're going to be using up some of the ammo, and you won't be able to actually do your hold if you were going to do that. And a 1v1, depending on the mech, like I said, tapping is probably going to be the best. A lot of times I've been tapping my right click but holding my left click, and then just at the right moment using it to do a lot of damage to whatever mech is attacking me. A lot of times you're really just trying to just sting them a little bit to say stop bothering me, and if they don't, you can really still do a lot of damage. Another really good thing is learning the rest of the kit, what we're going to be talking about, especially the third ability, which we'll be talking about that later. But overall, the weapons are really good. I say in the very beginning, have them fully charged. While you're going around, you might want to alternate which one you're going to want to do. Most likely you're going to tap it. But if you're doing objective style maps, depending on your objective, a lot of times holding the orbital can really keep a lot of people off the objective as well. So you have to be understanding of what you're going to be using the orbital for. Is it to keep people off the point? Maybe the one tap might not be the best. In that case, you want to do the hold the orbital so that you do a bigger blast, keep the enemies off of it. That could be a really good way to handle that. So now let's go into the actual kit, the first aux, second aux, and the third aux. The aux one is going to be the whole team switching mechanic, which is really fun, really good to do against certain mechs. It helps, and we're going to talk about some tips and tricks when it comes to this, because I learned this is really good when it comes to it. But you can also use this one ability for also grabbing a point from really far range. Something that I've been learning as I play Serenith. I play Serenith more like a battle mercy. I don't really focus too much on supporting. I'm trying to do more damage, keep people off the points. But there's been times that the range of your aux 1 is so long, I've been high in the sky being able to grab it while everyone is on the bottom. And I should have some B-roll when it comes to it, but I had literally like 2 strikers from the other team like on the point, not focusing on getting the objectives, trying to keep people off. And I was above them grabbing the actual point, and that was the actual game-winning round, which was amazing. So the first ability, you can use it to grab a point, grab a cart, grab a key, whatever you want. Give you some distance. So if you want to hide behind something, you can grab something. So Aux 1, use it that way. You have 3 of them, so it doesn't hurt you. But be careful. If someone does hit you, you do lose that grapple as you're trying to get the point. The next thing is, like I said, using the one to actually do that fun team switching thing ability. Man, as you see here, I do have a big box lock on, but I can't press my one ability. You do have to be somewhat close to use this ability. As you see, I got a little closer, and now I still have the lock on, but now I can use my first ability. Now, if they're zigzagging, you won't be able to get it. You have to have a nice clean shot of them, and when you press it, they are locked. And you see the icon that they have been switched team for a moment. They're on a different team, so their size, they're going to be seeing yourself and your team as a green, and they're going to see their enemy as their teammates. So that team switching is really good. One thing I noticed when using this ability is you can use this, let's just say, for example, Tricera. You can use this where you're going against a Tricera. A lot of times they're going to be pocketed by a Lumine or a Panaka. You can use this as a way to grapple onto them. Now, their Panaka and Lumine is going to see them as a enemy, unfortunately, and won't be able to get healed from them. So that makes it really nice when it comes to that. You can kind of stop them from actually getting healed for a second from the Panaka and the Lumine, and this allows you to get more chance to really do more damage. So any mech specifically that runs away, you can kind of do this, and they need some health, you do that, and then those few seconds that they are on a different team, they won't be able to get healed from that. So that is a really good way to kind of keep someone from getting healed and be able to punish them. The next ability we're going to look at is the Aux 2 ability. This one, they changed the name of it. It's called Korite Jammer. We're just going to read it. Cancels and grants immunity to stagger, immobilization, and enemy lock-on. Increases evade, range, jump height, boost speed, ascend speed. Press again to deactivate early, reduce cooldown. While active, defense field charges. While deactivate, defense field is deployed. So I want to first talk about, you do get a shield now when you are doing your second ability. Your second ability, as long as you keep that ability up as all the way to the max until it finishes the ability, you will get a full extra bar of shield. I tend to use this when I'm just starting the map. I just got into the map, I'm pressing my second ability right away because I want that extra shield for my protection, because you can have that extra shield fully maxed out and still have your second ability to reuse again. So it's always good to kind of have that already out so you have a little bit more protection when it comes to it. It takes away your enemy lock on. So if you're being locked on by an Aquila, if you're being locked on by anything, if you have someone being targeting, you have a Stellaris grabbing you with a grapple, you can activate this, they lose it. What I like about the second ability, super key, and we'll bring it out again more towards the end of the video, is this second ability is really amazing against Hell and the stun drones that Hell has. So the little pulse drones that Hell drops on the floor, the 3, you can activate this ability and it completely negates it altogether, but it also wastes the Hell's ability from stunning. So you will still see the stun coming after you. They just won't, unfortunately, it will be a waste, and you be actually destroying their Hell drone in a sense. They'll be targeting you, trying to target you, and it will be a waste because unfortunately it can't completely lock on and get their target. So I tend to use this offensively most of the time too. So if I see a Hell, they're putting a lot of drones around them, I'm going to activate my second ability, jump in there. All their drones are going to be trying to go after me, but it's not going to be able to get me. So I kind of do like how this ability does work. You can use this offensively when it comes to it. A lot of times you can use this defensively. So it all depends on how you want to use it. I think it all depends on your scenario, but I want to let you know specifically when it comes to Hell, I've been having a fun time. I see a Hell, they have their drones. You can't see their drones, but you know that they're either around on the point or they're around them, and you can go ahead and use this ability and you're good to go. A lot of times when you get to jump on a Hell, they're going to spam all the stun drones around them and they're going to jet away so they can kind of get a good range on you. when you get hit, your second ability will pop up as an option to get out of that hard immobilization. So it gives you a chance to get out of it, and it forces them, as like I said, Hell is going to activate a bunch of them as they try to back away and get a good line of sight on you and trying to punish you. You can activate your second ability. They can't lock on to you. And on top of that, all their drones are going to be trying to target you and being wasted because you're kind of like the bait when it comes to it. So I do like that ability when it comes to this. I think the second ability is actually really strong. They did do some changes to the weapon. The weapon's a lot faster. It shoots a little bit harder. But when you activate your third ability, it does even more faster when it comes to it, the charge rate. But overall, I think the second ability is probably the one, to me, one of the strongest things, because giving it the shield and having the complete immobilization is amazing. And I think that's what, to me, in my personal opinion, brings Serenith to the top level of S tiers, in my personal opinion, S tier ranks. All right, and then you have your Aux 3, your recon kit. Boosts his main weapon and sidearm detection, lock on range, ignore the terrain, Corite Haze, and Corite Pulse Storms when detecting locking on to enemies. Plus, it can deactivate early if you want it for a faster cooldown, reduced cooldown. So this is really good. Like it says, Corite Haze, you're in this Pulse Storm, you can activate this. You'll still be able to see the enemy's team, even though they won't be able to see you. So this is the way, if you're in those maps, use that to your advantage to be able to do that. A lot of times, I use this as a way to kind of almost snipe off a target. So for an example, let's say my teammate says Lumine is about to die, and the Lumine you see is leaving because it's about to die. You can activate your third ability, and you can still keep doing damage to them behind the wall. It doesn't matter the terrain. You're going to be able to do damage to them and kind of keep pressure on them so that they won't be able to fully heal. So a lot of times I'm using my third ability as a way of, my teammate says, hey, this person is really low. You see them trying to run and escape. A Falcon, an Alfred. All right, perfect. I activate my third ability. Recon kit goes out. Now I have about almost 1,000 meters of range when it comes to this, and I'm able to see them behind walls, activate my orbital, activate my energy autocannon. A lot of times, just like in a 1v1 scenario, I'm using my third ability. I'm able to see them. I'm going to keep hitting my right click, tapping my right click to keep making them move, take a little bit of damage while I'm holding my full energy charge, and then when I can, I'm going to hit my energy charge. Now, the third ability does not help your teammates at all. Just want to make sure that's clear. It does not give them enemy wall hacks or your teammates wall hacks. It just gives you and your main abilities or your main weapons the ability to be able to do damage throughout the terrain no matter what. So overall, third ability is super strong. That is something that I would say you can use it sparingly. So if you have someone you want and there's only one target that's really low, you want to snipe them, activate it, finished it, tap 3, finish it early so you can reuse it again. That is very helpful to kind of always have that third ability ready and present when you need to finish off a target. All right, now as we're looking at some of the matchups here specifically, I think Stellaris and like the melee players are really good at trying to go after Serenith specifically. I think it's still one of the best. They did a lot to make sure that Serenith isn't as weak towards the brawlers as it was before. As a Stellaris player, I was able to easily go after Serenith and finish them off. Now is a lot harder. They have the immunity. On top of that, they have now an extra shield, which again, as a brawler, it doesn't matter the shield, but they have more ways to stay alive versus where they were before. And now it makes it where Serenith had a weakness. Now it's kind of great against a lot of the mechs specifically. I still think that the melees are still one of the best ones to go after because you're going right through the shields and go right into the HP. I still think that the brawlers are still really good matchups against Serenith if you can lock a Serenith in place. But a lot of Serenith players are really quick. They're really moving around. Sometimes they're going to be high in the sky or they're going to be near the teammates. So it's going to be really tough. A really good Serenith player is really good. But if you can get a Serenith player off by his side, I think overall Brawler should be able to take care of it. Same when it goes to snipers. But I will say when it comes to a sniper, Serenith does a really good job at taking care of like an Aquila, really far distance, because now you can activate that third ability. And as it tries to escape, you have a big range as well. You could do damage to that Aquila. So when it comes to snipers, I think Serenith does a really good job at helping taking out snipers. Not the main focus, but can it take care of it? Yes. When it comes to like Tricera, Hurricane, Stego and those players that kind of stay still, those are the ones that Serenith is like the best mech to go against, those mechs specifically, especially when you are watching a Tricera or Stego or any of those mechs. As you see them using their jet's energy to move around the terrain, you can kind of tell when they're about to stop. So you kind of have one full orbital charge for that moment because they're so slow that the big full charge orbital will still do a good damage, even if they can't, because their depletion is really low. And they can't move really far. So when you can see those mechs that are really slow and their energy is kind of going out, you can then be able to use that ability to the main weapon to be able to hit them with the orbital and be able to do some damage to those mechs. So it's kind of like you kind of see those mechs in place and you can kind of take care of them. The other mechs I think overall still pretty good. Falcon can easily die to a Serenith, especially when a Falcon is trying to get their energy back up, trying to hide for a second, get on the ground, get behind a building, activate a third ability, and you can go ahead and do some damage to a Falcon for sure. A lot of other ones. Anisis, we're going to put Anisis on the same bar as the brawlers. Again, if you could get a jump on it, great. But a lot of times with the shields that you had, the not being able to target, I think overall Serenith is really good. And I think that's pretty much it when it comes to like the other ones. Alfred and Hell. Alfred is a medium mech that's technically light because of how low the HP is, so you can kind of take them out pretty quickly. But you do have to be careful of the bombardment of all the missiles. And Hell, yes, if a Hell is far distance and has that AoE range, it can get you. But overall, you can do put a lot of pressure on a Hell. I think overall, when it comes to the matchup against a Hell player, I think you do a pretty good job. But overall, the damage that you do with Serenith, just from these two weapons alone, you'll see even against a Hurricane player that has better energy defense, we're already able to break the shield and about a little over 10% health is taken off. Now that was just two weapons, and now if you have your teammate or if you just keep bombarding them and stopping them from actually getting more damage, as you see they have to replenish their shield. Now their shield is up. You see how easily just tapping that weapon can be very helpful when taking out a mech or any striker. And that's pretty much it. I think Serenith this season 1, to me, in my personal opinion, I think it's S tier. I honestly thought back in season 0, Serenith was situational, and when it was situational, it was A tier because back in season 0, if you weren't around for season 0, you're a new player. Season 0, Tricera and Stego in the very beginning had a lot of shields, could move around quicker and things of that sort, and you needed to take them off, and it was kind of tough for a lot of players. And my choice was always Serenith. Serenith can take care of those mechs for sure. And now it can still do that, but a lot more. A lot of the weaknesses that Serenith used to have, it doesn't have as much as it did before. Now, in my personal opinion, I think it's S tier. Now, I personally was able to get the special skin when it comes to it, something that I kind of enjoyed. I saw it, I wanted it, and I got it. But I know a lot of people want this as well. If you are a center player, I personally love this skin. I love the purple. I love the pilot. I love the music to go with it. Just overall was a reason why I ended up going for this. But you do not need this skin. Just paint it however you want. You don't get the special effects, but overall, I mean, I think Serenith is still a really good mech. Use it, try it out. I think you will enjoy. I think anyone will be able to enjoy Serenith as long as you understand how the kit works a little bit. I think overall, this is not really a specialty mech. This is a mech that anyone can pick up as long as you understand what the weapons do, how you can fully charge it, do more damage, and the other abilities. I think overall, this is a mech that anyone can pick up and use. It's just how effective would you be if you don't really understand the kit. As you understand the game and you play it, the more and more you understand how to play Serenith, the more and more this mech is, I think, S tier. But that's pretty much it. What do you guys think about Season 1 Serenith? I was going to do a beginner's guide for Serenith in Season 0, but we got caught up with so much. We were doing a lot of grinding in ranks, trying to pop out a lot of content. Now I'm trying to get to those mechs, like for instance Serenith. It gave me a chance to really play it. With the changes that we saw with Serenith, I had to pick up this mech for Season 1. This mech is really strong and one I had on my back burner that I wanted to try for sure. Overall, I think Serenith is a really good mech, but let me know down in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in our next video. Peace.